Alrighty guys, brand new Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and there's a brand new blue rarity, which are potentially pretty expensive, so this one is actually going to be a quickie. So let's go ahead and check out the first thing I want to check out before we hop into the Trickstar waifu cards. There's another secret rare blue special version over here, and it's going to be the Angel Statue Azurun, which is actually a pretty decent card at the end of the day. But these cards could go for a decent amount. Now it depends obviously on how many they print. I was just looking up these blue rare ones. I don't know if we're gonna get them in the TCG. We did have these as I think they were called Duelist League or something like that a long time ago, where we had blue rares, but this is a secret rare, but that also has the text in blue like this picture over here. But nonetheless, that card's gonna get a blue rare version. I don't know if we're gonna get in the TCG, but I think it'd be something quite nice. But now let's check out the brand new Yu-Gi-Oh cards from the Trickstar archetype. So starting right off, we got Trickstar Hoodie. This is going to be a level 2 light fairy effect. Here is the artwork. It's going to be a fairy with 600 attack, 1800 defense points, and it says that you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. So the first part is if you control a Trickstar, Fusion, or Link monster, you get to special summon this card from your hand. Second part is, if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a link summon of a Trickstar monster, you get to add one Trickstar Fusion or Trickstar Fusion from your deck to your hand. So pretty solid card overall in the archetype. I haven't seen this archetype actually in a while. I remember when the archetype first came out, it was kind of a mediocre-ish burn deck, but sometimes it would catch people off guard and you could actually get a very quick win. Next up though, we have the Trickstar 𝗗𝗵𝗀𝗶𝘀𝘁, which is a level 6 light fairy fusion effect monster, 2000 attack, 1000 defense points, and it requires 2 Trickstar monsters for its summon. And it says that you can only use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. So the first part is, if this card is fusion summoned, you get to add a Trickstar card from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards you control and in your graveyard. The second part says your Trickstar Link monsters that this card points to gain 1000 attack. The third effect is, if a player takes effect damage, you can target one face-up monster on the field and change its attack to 0. Okay, this is pretty decent, but you'd have to eventually utilize it, where Trickstars usually burn in the earlier stages, but if they summon a monster and they're going for their combo, usually once the good monster comes out, they're just gonna negate. So it would be really good if this card had the effect where this effect could not be negated or something like that, to make it a little bit more powerful and competitive, because again, more likely the monster that would come out would bounce this card back, or they would get rid of this card in some sort of a way by the time you hit the monster, because this is effect is once per turn. If you could keep on doing it, then yeah, that would be really good. Anyways, next up over here we have the Trickstar 𝗗𝘂𝗲𝗂𝗁, which is going to be a Link 1 light fairy effect monster. It's 200 attack. The link zone is in the bottom. Its materials are a 1 non-link Trickstar monster. It says you can only special summon Trickstar 𝗗𝘂𝗲𝗂𝗁, or, well, this is a different name, but I'm guessing this is supposed to be the same. Anyways, maybe translation. Anyways, once per turn, you can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. So the first part is, when a monster is destroyed by a battle involving your Trickstar monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, target one of those destroyed monsters, and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack it had on the field. Okay, now we're actually getting to a pretty decent amount, because, I mean, this one over here, that's 2,000. Trickstars could easily burn for, a couple thousand. It's not going to be like an FTK, OTK instantly, but this could actually be pretty big over here, because then once they get rid of it, it could take a good amount of damage. And then we have Trickstar Noble Angel, which is a Link 2 light fairy effect monster with 2000 attacks and its link zones on the bottom left and bottom right. It requires 2 Trickstar materials for its summon. It says you can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. So the first part is, if this card is link summon, you can add a blue tiers card from your deck to your hand. Second part is, if you have fusion monster on your field or in your graveyard, you can target a Trickstar monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Third part is, if either player takes effect damage, you target one face-up card in the field or destroy. Oh, but that effect is a once per turn. Okay, if this wasn't a once per turn, this would actually be pretty insane. But now we get to destroy a card and then also make it so you could have one monster and change the attack to 0, and then therefore it can't get. And this is actually permanent. It's just changes attacks not until the end of the turn, so potentially next turn you could run over the monster, and then once you're at low life points, Trickstars usually can eat up other decks pretty fast. Next up though, this is Trickstar Diffusion, which is a normal trap card that says you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. So the first part says activate one of these effects. You get a fusion summon a 1 Trickstar Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing material from your graveyard. So that's really good, because you just link off, go for the card. Real easy. Immediately after this effect resolves, link summon 1 Trickstar monster. Great. The second part is you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Trickstar monster you control. This turn, your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except for that monster while you control it. Okay, and next up we have the Maiden of the Blue Tears, which is a normal trap card that says you can only use the first and second effect of the card's name per turn and only once that turn. So the first part is if your opponent special summons a monster for monsters and you control Link monster, target one of its summoned monsters and destroy it. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of its original attack. Okay. Considering it's you just get to target one of them. I mean, still, that's still pretty good, considering just popping something and then just burning your opponent. And the following turn, again, if they get rid of your Trickstar, you can just burn for whatever it was when in the graveyard with its original attack. So if you get another 2k from that, we're actually looking at to the point where it actually might be viable for not necessarily like an FTK, but pretty much like turn 1. Well, it'd be your opponent's turn 1, right? And the second part of the effect is if either player takes effect damage while this card's in your graveyard, you can banish this card, target a normal spell in your graveyard, or banish? That is banish. Set it, but it can't be activated this turn. Okay, overall pretty good. Considering this over here doesn't even have to be specifically for Trickstars. There could be other archetypes where both players would take some sort of damage, and then just being able to target any normal spell or that's banished, because it could work with other archetypes where you'd banish it to get some sort of other effect, and then being able to set it again, and then activating its effect, then getting the banished effect of whatever said spell card is. We're actually looking at something that is pretty good, and I actually think this Trickstar support is pretty dang good. But next up, we got some confirmed reprints to go over. So we have Lilybell, Lycoris, Candina, Coralbane, Bloom, Holy Angel, Light Sage, Festival, Trickstar Fusion, Angel with Blue Tears, and Trickstar Reincarnation. But that's going to go ahead and cover it from the brand new Trickstars. Let me know, guys, what you think of it. I think it's actually looking pretty solid. It is going to be the S tier best deck. You know, I'm still on that Magical Musketeer hype, but nonetheless, I think this will be a nice little addition to have something else to kind of check out as well. But who knows, maybe with other support, it could actually be even better. And if they come out with more support, we'll be dropping more videos soon covering those cards as well. But anyway, so sub if you're new. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let me know your thoughts down below. Peace.